Welcome to episode 15 of International Maritime Security Associates Maritime Video Blog. I'm Corey Ranslam. We have Justin the intern behind the camera today. As always, we're going to tackle a serious topic today and discuss human trafficking. Human trafficking is something that didn't have an effect on me growing up. I grew up in the Midwest in the United States and really didn't hear or know about human trafficking until I joined the Coast Guard back in the early 90s. There was a particular case that we worked. I was stationed on board a patrol vessel based out of South Florida that did a lot of patrols in the Caribbean, in the Straits of Florida. One day we were on patrol and an aircraft that we were working with saw a small vessel that was traveling fairly rapidly in a northbound trajectory towards the United States, what looked like coming out of either Cuba or the Bahamas. So we were vectored in to intercept this vessel. When we got on scene and intercepted the vessel, at first we thought it was potentially a vessel trying to smuggle drugs into the United States, but it was actually the contrary. When we got on scene, it was a vessel that was overloaded with people. There were smugglers who were trying to traffic or smuggle people into the United States. Fortunately, we were able to intercept the vessel, the GPS, the smugglers, and also help the people who were on board. This would be a scene that would play out for a number of years throughout my career in the Coast Guard, where I would be involved in the interdiction and the interception of vessels coming from different islands in the Caribbean where people were being trafficked into the United States or even trafficked into other countries. And it was really interesting because we didn't just see people from the various countries in the Caribbean or countries bordering the United States being trafficked into the United States. We started to see towards the end of my career in the Coast Guard, people from a number of countries around the world attempting to make it into the United States through the ocean. The reason that we're talking about this today here on the video blog is the majority of people that are smuggled or trafficked around the world are trafficked through the ocean. I've seen people smuggled on board cargo vessels. I've seen people attempt to stow away on board cruise ships. I've seen people smuggled through private vessels, through yachts, sailing vessels. I've also, unfortunately, have seen cases where people have been smuggled in containers like cargo. And unfortunately, those people most of the time do not make it to their destination. Most of the time, people usually die in transit in cargo containers because the conditions are so hot. And it's horrific when you see these scenes play out. And this happens not just here in the United States, but it happens around the world. Human trafficking continues to increase around the world. And it's not a positive outcome for the people who are involved. Most of the time, people who are smuggled, whether they're smuggled through cargo containers or small vessels into their country of origin, typically don't have the financial resources to be able to pay for that trip. So a lot of times they're smuggled as a promise for a better life, and a better life that never ever plays out. When they reach their destination, most of the time these people are enslaved or they're sold into sex trafficking organizations to be able to pay off the debt that they have, and that payment actually never comes to fruition. The United States State Department puts together a report every year on trafficking in persons. These reports are fairly comprehensive, over 400 pages that give details of trafficking of persons around the world. There's some phenomenal links in the back part of the appendices of these reports that link to different government and non-government organizations that are involved to counter human trafficking around the world. One of the fortunate things is the number of arrests and prosecutions around the world continues to go up. But unfortunately with that, the number of people who are trafficked in and out of different countries around the world, whether by ocean or by land, continues to go up as well. So it's a huge problem that continues to increase. And I believe the only way for us to really counter this is to get more information out there, but also to get more people involved in this. And getting involved, whether you can volunteer for an organization locally in the country where you live, or provide financial support to the non-governmental organizations that are a part of the countering of human trafficking, is great. We need to get awareness out about this problem. We're seeing it happen not just with people being smuggled into the United States, but people being smuggled into countries around the world. Over the past year or so, we've seen the number of news reports about people being smuggled out of Northern Africa and the Middle East into Europe increase tremendously. And this is causing huge problems around the world, where people are being enslaved in these trafficking organizations, in the sex trade around the world. So it's a huge problem, but we can also attack it by being part of the solution. We love interacting with our fans and with our viewers, so if you have any comments or questions, make sure you post them below or through our social media. We would love to have you follow us through our social media, which is detailed in the banner above or in the comments section below. Also, make sure you hit the like button on these videos if you like them. And subscribe to this channel so you get notified when we post new videos, whether it's in our video blog channel or our life and events channel or our new editorial opinions channel. We're happy to steer you in the right direction. Make sure you check out last week's episode, which will be located in a box somewhere around in here. Also, be sure to check out our life and events page along with our editorials and opinion page.